and welcome to the Night is Dark podcast, a Game of Thrones episodic breakdown that we do each and every week. This is episode 6. We're going to call it Unbowed, Unbent, Unbroken after episode 6. Hey, my name is Maude Garrett. I'm joined by Ken Knapstock and special guest Michelle Boyd.
Hello.
Filling in for the wonderful Tiffany Smith, who we decided she could have a weekend off.
I don't know if she could have taken this episode.
I will aim to fill her tiny, tiny shoes.
You're going to do well.
She's been traveling all over the world, New York. So that's a pretty horrible flight to come back on, a nice 5 hour, and then to have to sit down and watch that episode. Oh,
we're still kind of recovering.
Yeah. There is definitely 3 open drinks for us to process this, and if you have a chance to get one too, maybe now's a good time.
If you weren't drinking during that episode, start now. By the way, you can find the show. Audio version is on the Knapstock Files podcast feed. We usually release it by Monday afternoon if you want to listen after you take in the show. And, of course, the video of this wonderful show, The Night is Dark, is available on the Geek Bomb YouTube page. And we got the head bomb herself here, Maude Garrett, you put that up Monday as well, right? For the people who want to recover and watch.
That's what's going to happen. And a lot of people commenting on those videos, which is pretty cool as well. Use that Twitter and the chat room right now to communicate with us live during the show. Use the hashtag The Night is Dark, which is the name of this podcast, or jump into the live stream chat. Ken, you're manning that one. You'll be interrupting us with some cool questions happening.
I am. I've got some people saying they need more volume. I've got Rachel Cushing saying it's her least favorite episode in 4.5 years of Game of Thrones.
Whoa!
I've got someone saying this episode is bleep up, and someone just yelling Maude.
Hello. Hey.
Ethan Greenberg's yelling Maude.
Hi, Ethan. Now, a bit of background on Michelle. Her and I have definitely Game of Thrones quite a few times together. You used to host Sunday night sessions at your place where we would watch it together.
Yes, I believe that started with the Red Wedding episode. I was one of those people who really wanted to see everyone's reaction. That sick,
you cold, maniacal person.
Sick bastard.
Are you a Bolton?
I don't know what you're talking about.
And I was actually next to you during the Mountain versus Oberyn fight.
Oh.
I don't even think I could watch that.
I don't think Oberyn could watch that.
Oh, too soon?
Because he's got no eyes or face anymore.
Yes.
Spoilers. Yes, here's a good time to mention this will be full of spoilers. We are talking about everything that happens in the episodes and episodes past. If you've read books, we will have conversations with that in the chat room. Michelle's also read all the books and has been making some big comparisons in there as well. We do know that it's drifted far away from the theme and far away from characters as well. And there are characters that just don't show up at all, or they've been changed over. We won't get bogged down in that. We are talking about the TV show right now, though. Basically, in this particular one, the first half of the episode is like a tennis match between what's going on in the House of Black and White and what's happening with Ser Jorah and Tyrion. So what did you guys think? We've got Arya back. We didn't see her for 2 episodes.
Good. Yes, Arya being back is always a good thing. Although I really wanted to know how many corpses she was going to wash. It's been weeks of washing.
That sound of like the dripping rag. Yeah, it's like, okay, enough.
Oh, God, we get it! Good God. It was good to see her again. It was nice to see. I did kind of feel, even though, yes, we got that introduction at the very, very end to the face room, I feel like she didn't do as much this episode as I was wanting. I'm waiting for... How do you guys do this? Are you able to talk about the books, what you know is kind of coming? I mean, you know what's going to happen in the show, probably.
No, we're leaving it kind of
just like
future-proof.
I have learned, Michelle, when I get upset and I say, but this happens, I get thrown out of the show.
I would imagine. Okay. Good thing I'm guesting then. So here's what happens.
Though it sneaks out. One of the things, though, as someone who's read this, I want to jump to seeing the faces. Did it meet your expectations?
That's not in the book, is it? They don't. They
talk about it.
They talk about it. You actually don't even really get the sense that there's like a room of faces. It's more just like, I didn't know if it was just a magic, if it was a glamour. This seems to be intimating that there are physical faces that they will put on. Yeah, boop.
I liked seeing it.
That was very cool.
That was a big, great set set they got there. That looked really good. It was a little freaky.
I like the fact that there's just big pillars and the faces are displayed like books on a shelf, basically.
Yeah.
So you can walk around and choose the face that you want to adopt.
Were you waiting for the old lady's eyes to open? I was waiting for the old lady's eyes to
actually big time.
Even though I was pretty sure she was dead, I was pretty sure she was going to bing.
So it seems like Arya is going through a series of tests. Before she wasn't lying well enough. She wasn't able to kind of let go of all of her possessions. And we're seeing every time we see her, if she does show up in an episode, that she is passing these tests. And I can't stand that game where one person knows all the rules and the other person knows none of the rules.
I call that love.
I call that life. I do like what they're doing with her. I like that they have the other, quote, little girl, but you get she's not a little girl, obviously.
Yeah.
That they kind of are pairing her with to make her feel like it's with an equal, although for all we know, that little girl is older than Jack and Hakkar and is the real master of the House of Black and White.
Yeah.
You don't know. That's the way that this could go.
And I kind of liked the example that this girl gave where she was like, this is what happened to me. And Arya's like, oh, you're finally opening up. And she was like, but is any of that true?
Right.
But in the example that she used, she was saying that I made a pact with the faceless man and now I have to serve him for the rest of my life. And I was like, this is kind of the power that we're tapping into here. And then she was like, yeah, but is it true? And I was like, I'm not even knowing what's true.
I believed her. I was like, oh, really? I wonder what house. Oh, damn it.
Wait a second.
I did really I thought it was interesting how Arya chose to tell that dying, the sick girl that kind of a story to make her feel better.
That was the test.
That was her own test. And I didn't think it was going to go well. I was like, oh no, this is going to go very badly because you're giving this gift of death that you're not supposed to be doing.
Yeah, you're not there yet.
Exactly.
You can't hand out death like it's a present.
Oh, apparently she can. Apparently it was the right move.
And she learned that. And it's hard to do lessons. It's hard when you're just learning, you know what I mean? We always make the joke that this is Dagobah, but this can be executed very poorly. I think they're doing a very good job. The idea of reintroducing Jack and Hagar into the story makes some sense now because it's kind of comforting to sit here and watch him go. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So they spent a lot of time on it this week, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It just it's very slow, dense stuff. So maybe they're getting it out of the way.
Yes.
But visually, it's dark. Visually, I was like, hey, can we get the brightness levels up? Because it's very, very kind of like, it's quiet. We were eating celery and carrots, and I was just like, really aware of the
a crunch of carrot. Ma just looks over at me like, how dare you?
But the thing is, it's like, it was so dark and it was so quiet that it would kind of have this eerie presence, and I think that's what it was supposed to trigger. I loved the scene between Jaqen and Arya when she's telling a story and she would put in lies and straight away whoosh, he could tell.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the fact that she didn't hate the Hound?
She didn't hate the Hound. She was convinced that she did, and she was like, no, I hate him
herself.
Yeah.
Oh, that was nice.
You lied. No, I hate him.
Yeah, I think that's what we all kind of wanted. We all knew that.
Like, we knew.
But this is a thing that we had a couple of episodes ago where Jamie was talking about the woman that he loved, and we're like, hold on, it was Cersei. Could it be Brienne?
Right.
Yeah.
So these pairings, people are bonding all of a sudden. So how long is it going to be before Brienne starts going with Pod? Come on.
We all know he has a lot to offer.
Do the bad thing.
Allegedly, right? Yeah.
Wait, because she's still a virgin, right?
Brienne?
I don't think anyone's gone near her. And you know what? When she was traveling with Jamie, he protected her several times from getting raped from them.
Yeah.
I mean, I assume that's sort of the
Tarth.
That's the implication, is that she's still virgin. Well, go to town, Pod.
Oh, that would be
that'd be a first time. That'd be one way to do it.
Let's cleanse the memory of that last scene with this. It's slightly better. Okay.
Yeah.
So the House of Black and White, we're kind of realizing that the next chapter is starting. She's going to become someone else. So he's saying you're not ready to be no one, but you are ready to be someone that's not you. And what purpose is she going to do? Because usually the faceless man will take lives. Does this mean she's becoming an assassin?
Does this mean that someone else is going to play Arya?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I heard some rumors about that a while ago, like a year ago.
I had never thought about that until
Maisie
now.
Williams
Even when I was reading the book, but that would make the most sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And whatever we've discovered with how the books are to the writing on the script now is that they're using familiar faces to come back in. So instead of bringing in a new character that she could become, is there someone else that we've already seen? And
Syrio Forel.
Maybe they'll give her the...
don't even. Not today, Ken. Not today.
Maybe they'll give her the face of that sick girl that she was just talking to, so
She
you
looks
know that
familiar.
it's someone she's dead.
Was she in something? She had a face where I'm like, I've seen that face before, and I didn't IMDb it, so I just thought I'd ask the internet, because we are all one now.
Yeah, internet. That's good. There's so much to Arya's training that they can go so many different directions. In the books, there were sometimes the chapters that I never skipped one, but I was like, if I was going to skip one, it'd be Arya learning to do this. But I don't think they're doing a bad job on the show. It's just long and dense.
I just don't think, the fact that she wasn't in the last 2 episodes, I get it. I know why.
Yeah.
That would have been nothing.
Some reason Bran is not,
exactly.
We talked about it off air. Yeah.
We've caught up. We don't need more of it. You're just dragging it out.
He's off in the woods having visions. We're done.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
See you next
Although
year.
someone pointed out, I don't remember if I was reading a message board or listening to something else where someone pointed out that there was a bird's eye view of Sansa in the courtyard, and there were like crows and everything. You could hear them. So maybe that was Bran.
Bran's a crow?
Like in a vision.
Yeah.
Just which is not a bad theory. So even though we're not going to see it, maybe it'll happen later that we're like, oh, he was there.
Yeah, wow.
Could be.
I like that. I love a good Game of Thrones theory.
Then, the blink and you miss it moments, because I went back and watched the battle with Ser Jorah again to see when he got touched on the arm. Couldn't see it.
Yeah.
It must have been when Tyrion was underwater.
I mean, that would be it, but
that would have been the only time he would have been affected, one would think.
And that's spreading quickly. That's already started forming.
That's what I started asking too. I'm like, how fast does this thing spread?
Days are numbered. We know what he's going to turn into.
Exactly.
Not bad.
that's pretty good.
Done. That really hurt my throat, so I hope it was worth it.
Good stoneman.
It's turned into a Walking Dead podcast.
Yes.
So seeing Jorah and Tyrion together as well, they're starting to talk and get to know each other. And I think it's because they had a near-death experience and they are bonding and they're trying to get to the same place. But Tyrion broke some pretty horrible news to Jorah.
Yeah.
That was bad.
Now, I didn't...
That was hard to watch.
It didn't click for me.
It never
that
clicked.
Jorah's dad...
Okay, wait, hold time out.
But he was talking about it, like, at length.
You've read most of the books. I know you haven't finished 5.
I was just like, what a coincidence.
They're both
They've got
named Mormont?
Yeah.
Lord Mormont.
From Bear Island?
Mormont.
Never sunk in for me.
So when Jor was saying
I need
had
George R. R. Martin to be like, hey, Maude, pay attention now. And I'd be like, oh, thanks, buddy. But no.
You know Marcella is Jaime's daughter, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Got that one.
Yeah.
But
You know
this is
Cersei and Jaime used to have sex, right? And they're brothers and sisters,
Frequently.
right? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So make sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
that one.
That was his father, and now his father's dead, and Jorah just learned it, which is, I don't believe, something that happens in the books. And this is when I love they kind of the show infuses some kind of new stuff into the story. That was kind of a heartbreaking moment for me as a Jorah fan. You know?
Yeah.
And having to not only say, your father was in the Night's Watch and he was, a very brilliant man, but there was a revolt where his people broke the fundamental rules and killed him. Ouch.
The fact that it wasn't even, I guess, like a noble death, like his people, his own people killed him.
Yeah.
It's got to make it worse.
And for Jorah, who has this inherent kind of nobility where even though he did something bad, he returned ice to his father because he wasn't worthy. You can tell there was some love there from Jorah and how he felt letting his father down, and he'll never get the chance to earn that back.
So this guy's looking down at his arm and he's like, oh, I've got grayscale, but don't worry, my dad's still alive. Oh, he's dead. Like, poor Jorah needs a hug, but no one can even touch him now.
Yeah.
I have nothing to live for.
Yeah, this is like really bleak for him.
Yeah.
And then he gets kidnapped by pirates. Now, this isn't the same guy that lent out boats to Davos.
Salador-san? No.
No,
Okay.
different guy.
Yeah.
Racist.
Yeah.
They all look alike.
They didn't have hair.
Not everyone from the Summer Isles looks the same, Maude.
God, Maude.
They look similar. Oh, dear.
All Dornishmen look alike.
But they were both pirates.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he lost all of his ships in the Battle of Blackwater, so it absolutely makes sense that he would be raiding with a small group. Like, it just fit the puzzle.
I mean, I'm glad you spent a lot of time thinking about Salador's life.
Well,
someone has to.
he got a lot of action from the ladies in a bathhouse, which never got the time of day in the series. So
we
good
all
on
like
you, buddy.
Salador, let's be honest.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's generous.
Bring
You're
him
not
back.
my friend, my friend.
Yeah. But not the guy we're talking about.
Yeah, another set of
Not at
pirates.
all.
And
Mr. Echo? Is that what I heard? Someone
From Lost.
was it?
That's Mr. Echo from Lost.
It's
Yeah.
Mr.
David
Echo
Fickus
from
and
Lost.
Bryce say that it is
Woohoo!
definitely a character from Lost,
Right?
Mr.
Okay.
Echo.
I didn't.
Mr. Echo.
Yeah, and
watch
Andrew
Lost.
Slayton says that too in the chat room.
Ah, Yeah, thank you, Andrew.
It was Mr. Echo.
Hello, Mr. Echo.
Smoke monster.
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
A lot of time, the first half of this episode, the first part reminded me of like season 1 where we had less characters and more time with everybody.
Yeah.
Arya and Jagan, Tyrion and Jorah, then back to Arya, Jagan, back to Tyrion and Jorah. I kind of liked that for a little bit.
Which also kind of follows how the book is.
Yes.
You feel like you get more time with the characters individually or with one other character as opposed to, hey, here's a whole mosh of everybody for the entire episode.
And you each get like 3 lines, move along, get your points in, get out. I liked taking that moment. I rewatched last week's episode after we finished our show, and that final sequence is one of the more beautiful sequences in all of this Game of Thrones to me.
With the sunset?
Going through Valyria, the Doom, the dragon.
I was
the
so
suspense.
happy to see Valyria.
Yeah.
And to see Tyrion's face when he sees the dragon.
Yes.
Oh, favorite moment.
Because it's real.
And that's where the show succeeds, even though we can sometimes complain about what's not in it or what they're doing and all that kind of book snobbery stuff. I love when they take stuff off the page and kind of put it in front of our eyes. And again, that was for me the Jorah Mormont moment, finding out his father died. That was such a moment we didn't have before.
And have they even touched on the show of how much Tyrion loves dragons and loves that time of life where dragons were commonplace?
No.
Has that been written? Has that been touched on at all?
I know a couple of times, Varys's spiders have come back and said, there's dragons. We're seeing them. There's been sightings of dragons, and everyone's just like, oh, they're probably drunk, or oh, there's just a story. And they've just been so dismissive. So for Tyrion, who I think was one of those people who was just like, yeah, right, there are no dragons, and then saw it.
No, Tyrion was one of the ones who, because he's like Sam, he loves reading old books. He loves like learning history, and he really wanted to be around when dragons were around. Like that was his thing. Because also, as a non-fighter, someone who's never going to win a jousting match, he can kick some ass on a dragon.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
So I think for him it was so nice to see that on his face.
Well, Tyrion's weapon's always been his words, and he's finally using them with Jorah, having a conversation. Why is it that you worship this woman? Why do you think Daenerys is worthy to be queen? And I was waiting for Jorah to be like, I just want to put my sword in her. But don't hashtag that one, please.
Hashtag put my sword in her. Okay, that's you've just coined it.
But it was, and I was interested to know as well. I was like, what is it? Because he's totally in love with her. But it was like, I saw her in a pyre. She should be dead. She was on fire. And she walked out with baby dragons. Like, this woman is not of our kind. Yeah. She is above us. And then Tyrion, who is this political mastermind, is just like, yeah, but it doesn't mean she can rule successfully.
Which is a great point. Yeah, Jorah doesn't disagree.
Which is why she's kind of fucking up in Marine right now.
Yeah.
And was like,
you can swear.
That's all right. No, you can.
Hey.
I just said put a sword in her, so you're fine by saying that.
No, cheerful G-rated euphemisms are cool, but, I don't know. It's like,
there you go. Make me feel better. But, Tyrion called it as well, going, her father would burn people for fun. Like, that screams unstable. Why is she different? That's what we're figuring out.
Yeah.
It's like it's becoming more and more grey.
And
area.
I do like these scenes with these two guys, and we're spending time with these two characters who never really crossed paths, and we know never crossed paths in the show before or the books before. It's great the interplay. Anything with Tyrion's kind of fun, his dialogue, and then of course when the pirates come, there's some great Tyrion dialogue based around his cock.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
The dwarf lives until we find a cock merchant.
We're looking for a cock merchant.
I know when I was a small child, I wanted to grow up to be a cock merchant. Who's ballerina or cock merchant?
How will you know that it will be a dwarf's cock? Because it'll be a dwarf size.
Did you take those?
No, it won't.
Take those placement tests in 4th grade?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, the placement tests. What do you want to be when you grow up? I tested cock merchant. I got an 88.
That was my category on that personality test.
Janitor, ballerina, cock merchant.
Because Pod was Tyrion's squire, and if Tyrion's kind of going, it ain't that small, I wonder what those two used to talk about over a glass of mulled
just
wine.
Whip them out and measure them. Measure them. Mine is 3 mangoes length.
We need a banana for scale.
But it was Tyrion who had to talk his way out of dying.
Again.
And that's the only way that he can do this. And Jorah was,
Jorah
he's
was
bleak.
pretty much silent the
But
entire time.
grayscale, dad's dead. Of course he's not going to have any will to live.
Yeah.
So
If I
Tyrion
was
had to
Jorah-
fight for it.
Although if I was Jorah, I'd be just like, casually touching.
Totally. Yeah.
Don't mind me. Just
You
don't.
got me.
Oh, you have something on your head.
Yeah, you may get me, but I'll get you eventually.
Exactly.
It's like Wyatt Earp. You may get me, but I'm going to take out a few of you with me. You know?
Yep.
It is always a little bit disheartening, or I don't know, kind of like a feeling in my stomach watching Tyrion squirm for his life. You know, like seeing him so desperate, because he always just has this arrogance. Even when he was traveling in a box to Pentos and didn't even say a word, he just had this kind of air of just like, ugh, let's just get drunk.
Right.
But to see him fearful, like
Yeah.
that for me was like, oh, he still wants to live.
Oh, of course.
He does. I mean, you go back to Walking with Bronn in season 1, leaving the Vale, and Shagga, who does like axes coming after him.
Yeah.
Again,
goats.
he wants to live. How do you want to die? Another.
Not today.
Cup of wine in my hand, in one hand, and a woman's breast in the other. If I'm remembering right.
He really wants to have sex a lot. That Tyrion.
Who wouldn't?
Yeah.
Well done.
Again, you're right. You're right. Tyrion always he wants to live. He's the one that everyone else seems to not want to live. But he wants to persevere, and it was he saved Jorah in this one.
So they're heading to the fighting pits. They're not going to Marine. They're going to Slavers Bay, though.
No,
It's still called that.
The fighting pits are in Marine.
Right.
Slavers Bay, if I'm remembering my geography.
the whole thing.
Yeah, Slavers Bay is the whole area. Marine, Yunkai is like south of there,
Right.
and then there's
Yeah.
one other city which I can't remember.
But he's saying, but there, there are no slaves. There was only free men. Oh, who would have ever thought free men were in the fighting pits?
Right.
And then Tyrion's like, ding, there's my ticket.
Yeah.
Right.
This is what's going to happen.
Yeah, thinking
Jorah's
on the fly.
Yeah.
Way to talk him up.
And you need me to sell my penis.
Yeah, and no Penny, no female dwarf, which is fine. You don't need her.
Oh, there's
There's a lot. There's
a lot.
This
I'm
is
not up to that yet.
where the dramatic changes are from the book, and again, you can get behind some of the producing decisions on. So I just
it's like a game of guess who, and you're like,
it's
who do you need and who don't you need, and you start going.
Yeah, I mean, while we're still here, kind of in Essos as opposed to going back to Westeros, like you don't have Quentin, you don't have Victarion, you don't have Fakon, if I may, because I don't believe for a second that's actually really Aegon, but you don't have all of these kind of other suitors claims to the throne that they kind of talked about in the books, which I actually like. I like that they're streamlining it. I like that Jorah they just didn't even bother with it. Jorah and Tyrion got together right away. Yeah, I like it.
Yep.
Yeah, it cuts out a lot, and that's okay. And I just sometimes I'm like, wow, where are they going with it? Which is, as a viewer, it's kind of fun again when I thought I knew everything and I could be swarmy and smug. Now I know nothing.
You know nothing.
Yeah, I do.
You're Snow.
Yeah.
So they're still going to the same destination. This is like Tyrion. He was going with Varys to Marine. Now and then he was going with Jorah to Marine, and now he's going again as a captive through other means. But it's just like he just keeps going to the same place. I mean, I guess that's fate for you.
Maybe.
King's Landing, though. Peter Baelish. That was a quick trip, wasn't it?
Back. Yeah.
Back, yeah.
I was not expecting him to see back so soon.
I wasn't expecting him to give up Sansa so easily like that.
Well, I mean, clearly he's not.
He's playing
already trying to get Cersei to send him back up there and name me Warden of the North, and my Knights of the Vale will fight for you.
I was kind of predicting in my head that he was going to try to be the hand of the king. I like this switch that's Warden of the North. I was driving to the grocery store the other day and thinking about Baelish because that's what I do and why I spend a lot of time alone. What an amazing character. I know you're not a huge Baelish gal.
I just don't like the actor and the way that he talks during it because it is really boring and I don't think he's got any emotion.
You just don't want to kiss him ever.
Even his kiss was one of the most painfully boring, awful things.
That wasn't boring. It was cringeworthy.
Yeah.
Not funny.
No.
I like he's always been in control, and the chaos is a ladder thing, which is such a thing, and there's so much chaos, and Cersei herself is just a big whirlwind of flailing chaos. So here he is again, climbing a rung.
But it sounds like he's teamed up with Bolton, he's teamed up with Stannis, and he's teamed up with Cersei. So no matter which way this goes, he's teamed up with an ally.
Now, at what point did he team up with Stannis? Did I miss that part?
When he was having a chat with Sansa.
Was Sansa?
Stannis is marching this
Bet on
way.
him.
That he was, but that felt more to me like
in the crypts they had
you
that
still have
conversation.
friends in the vet. That wasn't so much to me like he was allying with Stannis. It was more like, hey, Sansa, you've got this army coming, so if you want to take out a couple people before they actually get here, that would probably be good for everybody.
I still I felt it that he'd had communications with Stannis. I mean, how else would he know that this is
That they're marching down.
they're marching?
He might have just been because he's the type of conniving guy that would just know that that's what Stannis would intend to do. Because as he said to Sansa, and it made sense, that's what Stannis would have to do before the snows come. The only way he can get to King's Landing is through Winterfell. So it makes sense that he would want to take back the North from this intruder who killed, the rightful, the rightful Starks.
the rightful king of the North.
Plus, Baelish has birds everywhere, or his little spies. So, someone's probably said something.
I like how he called out Cersei, though. He can see that Cersei had no idea about any of this happening. He's like, hey, here's some info. She's like, what?
Yeah.
Once again, Cersei is flailing this year. She is not her father. She's got some skills, and I love my Cersei. I want to take her out for a butterscotch milkshake. But she's flailing. She doesn't have...
Michelle and I drink a bit.
Butterscotch milkshake.
But she doesn't have that tactical mind, and I don't just mean in military. She just doesn't seem to think 3-4 steps ahead.
But she's kind of like she's got the visors on when she's fueled by hate. She knows she wants to take out the Tyrells. She hates Sansa, always has.
Yeah.
As soon as Peter Baelish mentioned I've got Sansa in a strategic position, she was like, yes, kill her.
She just she hulked out, essentially. It's like any mention of Sansa, anyone. She just goes insane without really stopping to think about, well, what, why would he be mentioning this to me?
You're very correct, Maude. She's hate driven, and as we know, hate leads to anger.
Yep.
Which leads to fear.
She's like in the dark side. She's bathing in the dark side. Suffering. So I wrote here that Peter can see straight through Cersei's motives.
Yeah.
So Cersei's just like, he's going, I hear Sir Loras is, in prison. And he's like, obviously that's you. What are you talking about? I haven't done anything. That's his faith intervening here.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I can't tell who Sir Loras is sleeping with. And as soon as she mentioned, and this is why I've written down as well, that Cersei is enforcing the High Sparrow, but is she braiding her own noose? Because she's giving the High Sparrow this power, and she's like, oh, I heard Sir Loras is fucking man, excuse me. Be done with him.
Right.
But everyone knows that she has spawned incestual children.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard to ignore when he's on the throne.
Yeah. So it's like, you've just instilled something that's higher than the king or queen, which is the only person that could stop this from happening. And as soon as the High Sparrow kind of just turns on Cersei, she is done.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And Peter Baelish is like, oh, really? You're gonna get upset at Loras being with men when
you've been with brothers?
And Bronn mentioned it last episode or the episode before.
And the moment I think we discussed about too, and I know I've discussed it in my personal life again to myself in my room, that when Tommen tried to go see the High Sparrow and they wouldn't let him, the people in the back were yelling. So it's very well known. The show is subtly hinting at that it's just kind of the word around town.
And
so,
how much of a tell is it when the High Sparrow says neither the king or the queen is going to be above the law? I'm like, he's not talking about Marjorie.
Yep.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, the signs could not be any clearer. She's just digging her own grave.
Yep.
Yeah.
But she thinks she's like her smirking this episode. Oh. If I could have a drink every time she looked like she was just having so much fun, and just that freaking smirk that she wears, she's just like... Drink, drunk, dead.
I love that smirk.
It's like this is her getting Marjorie back for having her and her friends laugh at her during that one meeting.
Yep.
Yeah. I was just like, okay, this is it. Because we're in fourth grade.
But it's also like, this is my son. Yeah. How frantic did Tommen look in that situation?
And he waved the Kingsguard back. Did you see that?
Yeah, he did. And listener Jen Kemp just wrote, am I the only one that was extremely disappointed in Tommen for not saying a damn thing in that scene?
He's too young. He has no idea how to rule, and he's been told what to do his entire life. And in this situation, the two women that's been telling him what to do the whole time are at war with one another, and they're both yelling to do different things. And he's like, I cannot handle this situation.
No,
Yeah.
not at all. I mean, he's concerned with cake and pomegranate juice, and then all of a sudden he's finding out that like his wife knows about the uncle fucking another guy, and he just has no idea.
This High Sparrow is on it. He was making Marjorie confess so that he could catch her out on a lie and put 2 people behind bars as well.
And I still love, and we can talk more about it, the High Sparrow later. I just still love how Jonathan Pryce is playing him. Very calm.
Yes.
Very subtle. Not ostentatious. He got no footwear on. I love what they're doing with it. It's slightly different than the books, and again, that's a good change. It's
and let's not forget where Lancel is in this whole thing. He is in the inner sanctum, and
still hitting that gym.
And that neck is fat in the best way possible. Traps, what was I? But he knows Cersei's deep dark secret.
Yep.
Yeah.
About the death of Robert Baratheon. So she, in an indirect way, committed regicide. What is the freaking
You have
Lord
selected regicide.
Yeah, what is the faith going to say about that? So she's been bonking her brother and she killed her husband.
And she had sex with Lancel. So Lancel can be like, oh, by the way.
Yeah.
Outside of
I've
marriage.
cleansed myself, but you're still dirty.
Yeah.
It's a trifecta. Enjoy, Cersei.
Yeah.
Reap the whirlwind.
She's just sitting there making her bed, not aware that she has to lie in it.
I don't understand the level of complete ignorance that she has about herself
This
that
is this
way.
blind rage that she's fueled by.
It is.
Like
narrow
Tywin.
focus. Rachel Cushing said it on a comment, narrow focus.
Yep. Yeah.
She's just, and that's what her father didn't have, what she failed to learn from her
Because he would hear the most distraught information and you could just see him go,
He could distill it down to what he actually needed. Olenna said it. Olenna said your father knew that you have to work with your rivals instead of just reaching out and swatting them.
Olenna and Cersei in their showdown.
You like that? I know you're a big Olenna.
I loved that.
I could watch an hour of that.
Oh, same. That was so much fun because Marjorie was just like, "Oh, I have to go back and tell my family about this. You'll be very, very sorry." And so Olenna comes in with her sleeves rolled up, ready to throw it down, and that kind of just power battle between those two was insane. Cersei kind of making her wait, and Olenna's just like, "We both know you're not writing anything."
I love Olenna's just like annoyance, just being like, "Really? Like, is this really?"
I can't believe I'm losing to this guy.
But walked out not having solved what she came there for.
Rachel Cushing just put in, you can smell that shit from 5 miles away.
That was great.
It was just perfect.
That was a lot
Jen
of fun.
Kemp read, all of Cersei's problems are solved with wine. She thinks, but,
Oh, and the other golden...
She had hard cider.
My other favourite line Olenna said was just like, "Oh, come now. If every single pillow biter in King's Landing was put behind bars, there'd be no room for anyone left."
Pillow Biter is my new 80s band name.
Yes.
Oh my God. Yes. Pillow Biter.
But we traveled down to Dorne this episode.
Yes.
Finally spent some quality time with Marcella. The daughter.
Who's getting a little bit of tonsil hockey practice?
Yeah, it was like an episode of Sweet Valley High Dorne going on there.
it.
Tristan.
No.
T.
T-Dog.
T. Martell. Yeah. Hey, girl.
Yeah, he's
You gonna be
smooth.
my wife, girl.
May as well just do it now.
Yeah. And
Pretty much.
Yeah.
we're here at the Water Gardens. I still want to spend a lot of time in Dorne. I know this is probably all we're going to get, but
no, please don't say that.
well, no, I mean they could do. There's so many different things they could do. It's just it seems the show has made the decision to kind of Dorne's kind of this tiny thing. I mean, we didn't even get the sand snakes until what, episode 4?
And it's not even all of them.
No, there's
3.
still 6 left, I believe, that they're just not going to have.
There was a showdown where basically Jaime's there to rescue Marcella, Marcella, and then this is Jaime as well. Like he should have been throwing the dad card out there. Like I haven't seen my daughter niece in a long time.
Uncle
and
Jaime.
who is this young man that you are kissing right here?
Uncle Jaime.
Yeah, awkward.
Uncle Jaime.
Then the sand snakes come in, and there's a little bit of a fight between Bronn, Jaime, and those 3 girls. It was a little bit of a clunky choreography.
Look,
right? Am I
a little bit?
No.
But here's the thing. Did you notice when Bronn's arm got sliced?
yes, I think he's a gunner.
poison?
I think he's dead.
I didn't even think about
Absolutely
that.
think he is.
Oh,
They
God,
made a point to be like, as well.
to focus on. I'm like, oh no, this is how he's gonna go.
I think you're right. But there's been a lot of great fights in the history of Game of Thrones.
Mind you, if
this was not the best.
If he was a captive of Dorne, Dorne would have the anti-venom, wouldn't they? Surely.
If they
And
wanted to give him.
Necessarily. I mean, her father was the Red Viper and probably knew poisons no one else knew.
Wow. Yeah, I kind of wish that was a little bit sleeker. I loved the whip, especially when you're going to strike and it's like, whoosh,
The whip was
whoa.
cool. Started out cool. you know?
And I could literally sit there going 1, 2, 3, and 4 turn back. Yeah.
It was a little Star Wars prequel lightsaber fighting for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very Naboo-ish.
Yeah. Very Naboo. Yes, David. Fickett.
stage
Very
photography.
Naboo.
There it is.
1, 2, 3, and 4, and where go back to Brienne and the Hound. That was brutal. Full of crotch kicks and ear bites.
Yes.
And it almost looked like they'd said, "Hey, you two go at it. We'll just film."
Yeah.
And this fight, unfortunately, the Sand Snakes, I think, deserve a little better. But it just there were. Hey,
There's
sometimes
just so much hype.
Hey, in the world of pro wrestling, sometimes we put two people in a ring. They have no chemistry. These 5 had no chemistry, unfortunately.
Maybe one of their shoulders was injured.
Yeah.
I just kind of feel like there was so much talk and so much hype, and when it happened, it was over before it even really began.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. So now the guards are in and the
Arya
fight's
Hota
over.
comes in and it's captured, and this is in line with the story. There's a lot of less characters for this, but again, I think you've read this part in the books too.
Yeah.
But
This didn't happen.
Again, I remember reading book 4. Stopping and going, I have no idea what I just read. I need to go back and take some notes.
Yeah.
This one just kind of pared it all down.
Yeah, it was, but I also feel like it could have been stretched out a little bit. Give it a little bit more time. This season was the Sand Snake season.
It was.
And it was kind of
supposed to be.
in and out in 12 minutes kind of deal.
I
Not
remember
even.
last year at Comic-Con and the little cast clip comes out and
Yes.
everyone's reading,
Yep.
I'm playing this, and it's like, Sand Snakes!
Yep.
Yes!
I've got the diggers.
Yeah, I kept telling my friend Paul, I go, Paul,
spear.
the Sand Snakes are coming. The Sand
Yeah.
Snakes are coming. And
I couldn't wait
I'm
for
waiting
'em.
still. Kind
Yeah.
of.
I mean, it's just,
Done.
and am I the only one disappointed by the fact they all look alike? I actually liked that they looked different in the books. Because
Yes.
there was a whole thing
Yeah.
of Oberyn sleeping with different women, that they didn't all look exactly the same.
you're right.
But all Dornishmen apparently look alike.
Yeah, yeah, no, you're right, because he was around the world.
He was.
Yeah.
And he couldn't find his baby.
You just, I didn't realize they made that decision, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean...
I need to go be disappointed for a second.
Oh, you book readers.
Drink.
I'm kind of one of them in a way. I'm like sitting on the book fence.
But I honestly feel like all the, the choices they've made in the TV show versus what they could have kept in the books, honestly, it's weighted so far into the positive that I'm willing to forgive them things like this.
It's an impossible task that
Yeah.
they're doing, and they're going to misfire sometimes. Sometimes within each episode, they succeed and misfire, but...
Succeeding. Bronn sings!
Oh, that was cute.
Bronn sings!
Yeah, and if those who don't know, Jerome Flynn had a British pop music career.
I found this out!
Yeah, if you go back, I
amazing.
forget the name of the band, but you can find an amazing promo pic where he's got like kind of a Wham look and little.
I've seen it,
yeah, it's amazing. If you haven't, Google that, Jerome Flynn.
But it's this thing where every single time you see a really endearing moment with a character, are you like, oh, days are numbered?
Yeah, you're gonna die. Mm-hmm. Like the story that, oh God, how am I blanking on his name? Barristan.
Yes.
Barristan told about Rhaegar
beautiful
singing. I
story.
was like, oh no, you're
He's dead. Yep.
Oh no.
Bronn singing gets stung by a poisonous blade.
Tommy D just writes in, I'm from the UK. It was Robson and Jerome. Robson, is it Robson or Robson, Tommy? Yes, that's a...
Get those questions in though, because after we do our little breakdown, we want to hear your theories and suggestions and your comments as well. So we'll read them out at the end, which is coming up soon. So start thinking about those. But Winterfell, Miranda, aka Crazy Bitch, she's decided to take it into her own hands.
I put. Sorry, I cut you off there.
That's right.
I put Miranda.
How did you write that?
I put.
Oh, you did too. Let's be completely honest. Ramsay didn't send her to bathe Sansa, did he?
No.
No. She's already proven
She's taken Sansa into her
She's
own
on her
hands.
own little mission.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you what a bad and naughty guy this is and how scary he is. And here's Sansa. My favorite thing is when she found out about Joffrey, broken. When she found out about Tyrion, devastated. When she's hearing this about Ramsay, nothing.
No.
She's
like, you know what,
She's been there,
bitch?
done that.
No, her journey towards the dark side of the Force is almost complete because she was like, yeah, you ain't scaring me, bitch, get out.
And I can see you straight through you.
Yeah.
I know. How long have you been in love with him? Boom.
Yeah.
because she thought that she
Mic
was
drop. I'll finish the bath myself. See yourself out.
And way to completely touch on probably what is Miranda's only insecurity on this. This is my home. I am a lady of Stark.
Yeah.
Who the fuck are you?
Yeah, you're a stableman's daughter.
Yeah.
Good luck with that. You think he's in love with you? You are nobody.
Yeah.
Oh, and I don't know if this was actually a name from the book, because I know they did talk, and I'd forgotten. I don't know how the hell I'd forgotten about Ramsay's hunts for the girls that bored him. I don't know how I forgot about that. But when she mentioned one of the names was Tansy.
Yeah.
Did you see that? I thought that was a cute little reference back to the whole Tansy tea. That I don't know if it was, but the whole Tansy tea of Lysa's baby being killed by Tansy tea. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
That was like the father's last words. Remember?
Yeah.
I don't know. I hear Tansy, and that's all I think of. So I thought that was kind of a
good
The
note.
Tansy
Good
tea
notes.
is the
Tansy is Tansy that Miranda just mentioned was one of the girls that Ramsay got bored of.
Yep.
But also in the book, you drink Tansy tea. It's
To
like
not get
moon tea
pregnant.
or have an abortion, essentially. Yeah. So that was how that was like one of the main things that sparked all of this. Was like Lysa got pregnant by Littlefinger, who thought he was sleeping with Cat, but the father made Lysa kill her baby and was sorry about it.
Gotcha.
There was a whole thing.
Full circle.
There was a whole thing.
Boyd knows her stuff.
Yeah.
Look at that little notebook. She made these at home before she even got here.
That's it. Just notes upon no.
But does this mean that Miranda's kind of out of the picture here?
No.
I don't know, because
I don't think so.
I don't know what they're doing with the character. It's kind of fun because it's adding something that wasn't previously there. That it just, even those shots of the wedding where she's just like,
Yeah. Crazy bitch.
And I think they are making more of this character than they did in the book, so I'm interested to see where that's going to go.
Well, I think she was pretty much non-existent in the books. There might have been other
wasn't.
versions of it, but
She did, if I remember, she did get mentioned as like liking going on the hunt, so you find out she's a fucking sadistic bitch. But it's sorry, I'm gonna stop swearing eventually.
No. To get the point across, there's always like a bit of a hope that Ramsay's not as horrible, and will he see the light, and is there good in him? Will he be rescued like Vader?
Are you insane?
But then again, time and time again...
it's like when Tiffany's here and she's like, guys, I think there's still some good inside Ramsay.
No.
I think that's gone.
Yeah.
I think that.
And he switched as well. I promise I will not hurt her. And then he gets married and everything's great. And as soon as the door shuts, he's just like, all right, let's fuck up everyone's life again.
It was
You watch, I'm going to do my thing.
It's a beautiful wedding.
There was no deaths.
It was sweet.
How screwed up was that, though, of how beautiful the wedding was and how beautiful the setting was and
Her
the
dress,
candles and
she
the
looked
dress.
She had a very James Bond girl dress, like in the snow or something like that.
And I'm very like Chronicles of Narnia and just kind of walking through very pure. And I'm like, this is so fucked up.
You chose the reference of the exact opposite of Game of Thrones. That is beautiful. That's a beautiful example. It is sweet and innocent, and then this darkness.
Oh, you are horrible.
You are seeing a transformation with Sansa, though, and I think it is Littlefinger in her ear being like, hey, you know what? You used to be like, yes, sir, no, sir, 3 bags full, so that's not going to make you live. Your father did that. He did. You saw that happen. You need to become brutal and empty, and you're seeing her life kind of slip away. But then, like, Theon's a sore point for her. I just want to shake him and be like, tell her that her brothers aren't dead.
Something. I will say, though, like, that's actually one of my very favorite things that they've done with the TV show in a deviation from the book is made Sansa cool. Like, Sansa, they've actually given her a spine. Thank God.
Yeah.
I mean, in the book, she's just sort of chilling out in the Vale for a little while, and that's it. Like, you don't really see anything from her. And thank God they're giving her more to do, which makes sense. She's a Stark. She's the rightful heir of Winterfell. Like, give her something to do. So I really do like that they kind of switched out the Jane Poole fake Arya thing and are bringing Sansa in, and I hope to God she's going to get her own retribution against the Boltons.
And I think Theon's kind of slowly awakening a little bit. It's like
He didn't break eye contact, though.
Correct, but there's
You have to watch, and he did.
Yeah, but I mean, he's starting. He had to say his name at the wedding. I just saw someone in the chat room mention that as too. Rachel as well loved the moment Enrique has to call himself Theon at the wedding. I think that means there's some stuff coming with him where maybe he finally will break free. I'm totally predicting that, not knowing where the producers are taking it, not based on any knowledge we might have. It's just like you see these little moments with the character, the eyes, and this horrific thing, which I'm still saying is less horrific or less. I don't. It's just very different than the books, and I think the books even more twisted. If you can believe that.
Italo Nassau is saying, trying to get the hashtag kill the fucking Ramsay Bolton. He keeps tweeting that out, so let's get that trending. I like that one a lot.
Kill the fucking Ramsay Bolton.
I'm trying to find... Oh, here we are. James Burley tweeted in saying, man, can someone please tell Sansa that her siblings are alive out there?
Yeah.
Agree. Andre is saying too many changes this series. He's clearly a book lover / snob. Mm-hmm. But that's fair.
Someone had to streamline George R. R. Martin's writing, though. There was just no way.
Bloat.
Yeah.
Character bloat.
Was no way to keep track of everybody. And that's with, like, knowing everyone's names right there in print in front of you. Like, I can't imagine trying to keep all the faces straight, which is why I was pissed about the Dario O'Hara's change, the casting change.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was like, they changed it from this like kind of awesome blonde guy to a guy who looks like everybody else.
Yeah.
But his butt though, oh my god.
I'll let you two have this moment.
Yeah, I'd already seen it in Nashville. It's fine.
That's true.
I like this one from Christopher at Review Easy, who says, how much longer until Reek snaps and Ramsay reaps the consequences? I like this. He's got a break. He's got nothing else to lose. And Sansa he's trying to kind of gain some sort of forgiveness and be like, I'm sorry. Like, you were my sister growing up.
Yeah.
He's
in a position where Reek trusts him because he's so broken. I think that he's onto something.
And I think, and you saw in the preview where Sansa tells Theon that they still have friends in the North. Mm-hmm. So that's
where
got to lead to something.
She's getting her power from that. Like with this whole Miranda throwdown, and she's like, bitch, we're in my town. This is where I'm from. That one word where the woman was saying, we haven't forgotten.
Yeah.
You know, there is an out. We will be there for you. Even though she's completely alone, Baelish has left. She's still getting
Brienne's still there.
She's getting this kind of like...
Which she doesn't know, but she knows she has friends.
Yeah. And I think she's feeling a little invincible from it, or like that there's a bit of hope that she's holding on to. But she's biting back.
Well, I think like a lot of it has to do with the fact she said it herself. This is her home.
Yeah.
This is her town. This is her town.
Yep.
This is her like place where she was born. King's Landing, when she went to go marry Joffrey, she was so out of place, and it was just there was nobody there for her.
Yeah.
She didn't know the area. She didn't know the people.
Yeah.
This is her.
And would sneak off to the Godswoods all the time to kind of like have some familiarity. But you're right. Yeah, she got married in the Godswoods now. Godswood.
Godswood.
2 S's.
I think it's Godswood.
Godswood.
Internet.
Yes. Yes.
I'm sure we'll find out soon. One from Carter, who says chances that Arya or another assassin could change their face to cat as a little nice reference to Lady Stoneheart.
Oh, to Catelyn. Oh, because when they said cat, I thought
I don't discuss LHS on fear of being attacked in alleys by people who don't want to be spoiled.
Carter, have a chat with...
Are we talking LSH?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have a chat with these two at Michelle Boyd, at Ken Knapsack on Twitter, and they will talk about those sorts of things. There's technically no spoiler. If you haven't read the books, that would just go over your head. If you have, and I'm starting to get this one, it's kind of morbid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I think
we see that one.
It would probably be a distraction is my take on it. Yeah.
Do you guys agree that this has been one of the weaker episodes, though? I mean, Rachel said that this was her least favorite in all the seasons.
I don't think you can say least favorite equals weakest.
Correct.
I don't think those two correlate. I think it's least favorite because holy cringe fest, Batman. But I don't think it was a weak episode.
This was brutal in its own way. That was uncomfortable to watch Sansa and even Sophie Turner go through that scene.
Yeah.
I think again the show is a core of this show and the story is women having to overcome the brutal things that this world throws at them, and that's to me what George R. Martin's putting out there is what some of the horrible things that happen, and these women, these strong women, have to find themselves to overcome it. I think that's a little bit what this is about. And Ramsay is pure evil. That was,
obviously.
But I think it was actually a good episode.
Kill the fucking Ramsey.
Is it just kill the fucking Ramsey now? I'm okay with
Ramsey
it.
Bolton. Kill the fucking Ramsey Bolton.
Yeah, there was some that fight. The Dorne stuff was a little. Dorne stuff's coming off as rushed to me. I don't know what you feel.
I do actually.
Yeah.
I do feel it's rushed. It's you. Who the hell is Tristan? I'm just like, just watching that. Would you know that that's Prince Doran's son?
He's smooth.
You know, yeah, he's.
I mean, to
So creepy.
to anyone out there who is pure TV shows, is a good question. It's like, are you clear with what's happening? Do you know who Arya Hota is? Do you get who he is? Do you get why who Prince Doran really is? We know his name, but it just seems like we're missing a lot.
He was
of
a
that.
lot fatter in my mind.
Me too.
Yeah.
The whole
'cause he has
suffering from gout.
Gout.
thing.
Yeah.
That he was supposed to be.
Had a spout of gout.
That he wasn't really supposed to be able to get up from his chair, and I kind of feel like this guy can just jump
He could
up
backflip
and
from
do
it.
tap dance anytime he wants.
Some of the tweets that have been coming through, and guys, use the hashtag The Night Is Dark. We've got one from Michael Burton, who's Bertrand, sorry.
Michael Bolton?
Michael Bolton.
I celebrate
Michael
his
Bertrand.
entire catalog.
Who has said,
No talent, ass clown.
since the show is differing from the books, what do you think the fate of Marcella will be?
The fate of Marcella.
Because it's differing so much.
I'm sorry, I missed the first part. Was they asking based on the book or just based
Because
on
it's
what
differing
we've seen?
so much
Yes. It
from the books.
Yeah,
Where do you think...
particularly this scene, if this was their adaptation of what happens in the books, it's entirely different. So
Yeah.
or not, it's not entirely different, David. It's not entirely different. Don't hold your ears.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
It's just missing a little details. It's still going in the same direction. She's a pawn. She will be a pawn. You can see it. A lot of parties want her. Jaime wants her. Ilaria wants her, whether it's dead or not. She wants her. She's a pawn. Doran thinks she's a pawn. Tristan's like, she ain't a pawn. That's my girl, yo. So
She's blonde and she's hot.
Yeah.
Let's go. Yeah, I mean, the idea in theory is that Dorne and the Lannisters are going to have an alliance. Doesn't really seem like anybody actually wants that.
Yeah.
So I don't know where.
Except
she's
Marcella
gonna
and
end up
Tristan,
with.
because they want to get into the funky town.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously.
right, because that's what you do in Dorne.
I mean, it's so hot there.
Yeah.
Got one from, I'm going to butcher your name and I'm so sorry. Guggen McMeister? Guggen McMeister, who says...
Not real.
So, it's not a real name. Yes. Sorry, buddy. So with all the story changes and streamlining of the books, what do you think will happen to House Greyjoy?
We were discussing that over our chips and salsa dinner.
King's Moot. Will it happen?
No King's Moot. As far as you know, yeah,
No
or Queen's
Asha,
Moot.
Yara.
Balon's still wandering around. There's never been confirmation of anything of his
yeah.
fate. Euron, Victor, the Dampare, all that stuff. I know you aren't a fan of anything Ironborn.
Well, but, okay, what the Ironborns do is that they drown people in the sea and
Right.
then give them CPR basically and bring them back to life. And they're saying that if you die, then
That is their religion.
Yeah.
What is drowned can never die.
what is... Yeah, exactly. And I was just
Yeah.
like, ugh. And they talk about the Kraken the whole time and I'm like, ugh. I don't like it.
Maybe it's because I like Kraken rum. Maybe it's because I was Coach Balon
Why did you
Greyjoy in
bring any?
School of Thrones. I'll bring that next time. I just love...
Release the Kraken!
I do like the Greyjoys, but they're also... It's even in the book, you're like, get to it. Choose your next leader.
Yeah, just move on.
But at the end, Dance with Dragons, I want that. So I think, I'm looking forward to seeing some more Greyjoys.
It's Game of Thrones.
Some kind of version of them.
Anyone who's up for a throne should be getting a mention in the show, you would think.
One would think.
One would think. Black Box TV says, I kept thinking that Rick was going to snap and stab Ramsay before he could, do the deed with Sansa, and he was way off. He feels kind of bad about it. This is what happens when you're a book reader or not. You can't see it coming now.
Here's my real question, though.
Yeah.
Who do you feel has more cause to kill Ramsay, Sansa or Theon?
I wouldn't mind seeing Sansa kill Roose,
Okay.
but Theon needs to kill Ramsay.
That would be the most satisfying for me.
You know what? What if Theon just confesses to Sansa saying they're still alive, and
Let's kill
then
Ramsay.
he dies?
Theon dies?
Yeah.
I don't. That's. Yeah.
Who knows anymore?
It's like tortured, flayed, penis cut off, spousal rape. Which one's worse? You tell me. That's a dark question.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, and then Ramsay also represents his house too.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, he would have killed Robin Catelyn in a heartbeat. So
Absolutely.
it's
Yeah. Yeah. Dark words.
Carter has written a tweet but ran out of characters, so used no spaces. So let me try this. The season has been slow so far, and is none for its rapid pace and brutality. The season is almost up. Who makes the first big move?
Oh, okay.
I agree with that, Carter.
I like it.
And I love your use of non-spaces. No, this.
Well played.
I was writing down the notes at the beginning of the show, and it was like episode 6. Holy crap! This is episode 6.
Yeah.
Other than Barristan's death, we still feel like we're setting stuff up.
We got no Dany this episode, and I kind of felt like hers was the most progressive in a way. Like her dragons are fully fledged. She's taken over Marine. She's reinstating the fire pit. She's about to get married. Nothing.
Banging Dario.
Yeah,
marrying.
I could see that more.
Which kind of came out of nowhere in the show, I feel like. Because it's not like he'd been proposing to her the entire time like he did in the book, so she just sort of agreed to it. But I also do kind of like that maybe that made it seem like it was more of a decision she made on her own. Like, this is what I should do.
I think it's a character. It makes Dany have that strong character choice. I think that's what they're trying to do, but again, it doesn't change that it was rushed.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah, you can have
where the hell did that come from?
You can have those strong character moments, but all of a sudden, like, do you want a beer? No, I want to marry you. Like,
You're like, okay. Thankfully, his suitor is already on his knees. Oh, what?
Yeah.
I kind of thought episode 6 was more about the power and the politics. It's still kind of a war of words at the moment. You know, Tyrion using words to save his life. Olenna having a war of words with Cersei. It just kind of seems like it's all talk, no action.
And
especially with that fight.
Burasuta, the Grey Bomb, at the Grey Bomb, tweets into us that other than episode 4, this season of GOT has been a letdown. Season 5 equals a lot of hashtag whatever moments. I agree at this time, but I'll say this though. I remember season 2, me going to myself again in my room when I talk about Game of Thrones.
With a butterscotch milkshake.
That's right. My butterscotch milkshake brings no one to the yard. I remember thinking season 2 let down. The Battle of Blackwater was the only thing you had. This and that. Well, this past March when I rewatched all the seasons again, leading up to this one, season 2 had a lot more to it that I hadn't previously seen, experienced, or filled. So sometimes you got to let time pass before we judge it. Season 3 is now my least favorite season when I thought it was one of my favorites. But what that is admitting is that this season's been a little different.
I agree. It's been a little slow. It's been more dialogue driven. I feel like there's a lot going on that we're maybe not aware of yet as much. You're just sort of seeing a lot of the build up to it. You know, you're seeing
there's so much build up though. When's it going to pop?
Yeah, you're seeing like the bricks being laid. You're seeing like like Cersei with the High Sparrow. You're just sort of watching that rock get higher and higher off to the cliff. Yeah, and you're just kind of watching them push it without knowing the cliff is there.
Yeah. Analogy.
Hey, there it is. Came out of nowhere.
That's kind of all the questions, huh?
If anyone has any questions as we start to wrap up, we got a lot of. I'll dig around here and find some. But a lot of people say season 5 is a letdown because they've strayed so far away from the books. There's a lot of that.
Is that a letdown though, or is it kind of refreshing? I've seen this with other episodes that were based on book series. They went so far off too soon, and then it was like, why would you stray from the material that's in front of you when it's actually a good book and you're making a worse substitute? But in this one, the decisions that they're making, I'm like, hey, that makes sense.
I kind of look at it like a puzzle, kind of. When I see the show, I'm like, oh, okay, why are they doing it that way?
Yeah.
Like, they have this. Why are they choosing to do that?
And the Sansa thing makes sense.
Right. Yeah. Makes sense. A lot of the stuff they do makes sense. And it also, some of the departures, little moments like the Jorah thing, finding out about his father. I appreciate those.
And again, going to season 2, they made a lot of changes from the book. That's my least favorite. 4 is a different book, but 2 is my least favorite book because it didn't grab me. But season 2, they made a lot of changes that streamlined stuff that I enjoy what they did. I get what they're doing. I have your reaction a day later. It's when we watch it and get on these microphones that I'm like, how could you kill Mance, you a-holes? But
did they?
Yeah. Or did they?
They probably did.
Yeah, it seems like they did.
They probably did.
So yeah, it's the questions of, you made that change, okay, but how could you do that? Because that thing on the other side of it is so cool, but maybe they'll still do it. You got to give them time.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't mention something, Ken Knapsack.
The lack of Stannis in this episode?
Yeah?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Team Stannis is a little disappointed tonight.
Yeah.
I could just have 5 minutes of Stannis just kind of sitting there talking to Davos about proper grammar, and I'd be happy.
Oh my God, I had to rewind that moment 3 times.
It was so great, wasn't it?
It was so great.
Yeah.
Fewer.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so good.
But hey, I'm just so happy that after last week's episode, the amount of people who tweeted, messaged me, and everything, they're like, "Hey, you have to be happy that your guy Stannis is finally getting love." It was kind of a moral victory for me.
Yeah, okay.
I'll take it.
Because you've been rooting for him
Since season 2.
Yeah.
Since episode 1. Actually, I've been rooting for him since John Adams.
You've been rooting him?
It's
All
the same.
Australia.
It's the same character to me.
It's okay, pillow biter. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, your Australian terms frighten me. As do your spiders.
I can't quite get past the fact that he killed his brother. I like Stannis. He sent a demon shadow baby to kill his brother.
That was
He
knew
Melisandre.
something.
He just was like,
Yeah, but he was like, I'd rather not know, just take care
yeah,
of it.
this topless witch is getting it on with me on my map. This is awesome.
And then my brother's dead from demon shadow baby.
All right, that's his one sin.
Just saying.
I liked Renly too.
Renly was good.
Renly was all right.
You didn't like Renly, huh?
He was charismatic, but
If he had the peaches, would you have liked him a little more? Okay.
if he'd gone after peaches instead of bananas. Sure.
Oh, is that what that analogy was?
I think it just was.
Thank God I figured it out before I went, I really like peaches. Well,
Andrew Slayton says Stannis is the rightful king. Andrew, you're on Team Stannis, and I appreciate it.
I'm with Tyrion.
Hashtag vagina
what
smoke
makes
monster.
somebody vagina smoke monster? Hey, they did bring back Mr. Echo.
Yeah.
I mean, who really has the claim to the throne? You know, Robert Baratheon won it in battle, kind of fair and square.
so therefore the Targaryens still have the rightful...
But does the Targaryens have the rightful claim because Robert
It was
Baratheon took it from it? Like,
They lost it fair and square.
I mean, I think it's kind of safe
There's
to say
nothing
that...
fair about the way they lost that.
Well, the Aerys had... Targaryens had dragons, and he lost them. Sorry.
What do you mean it's not fair? You challenged a little schoolyard fight, you lose. You know?
It's right by battle, apparently, for the rightful claim to the throne, in which case Stannis does have the best claim.
Yeah.
The whole thing is a game.
A Game of Thrones? Is that what's happening?
I think it's more of a song.
Of fire and ice.
Bust out the little lyre. Meow,
Meow, meow, meow, meow, meow.
I think we're going to call it there, guys. If you do want to continue the discussions, we do have Twitter handles at Michelle Boyd, at Ken Knapsack, and at Maude Garrett. This is The Night is Dark, a Game of Thrones podcast. Oh, wow, isn't it funny? I have one-sided during the show, and all of a sudden I can't say, we're the Game of Thrones podcast. If you are just tuning in and you didn't see the full episode, never fear. The entire episode will be uploaded to youtube.com/Geek Bombshells. If you prefer just an audio-only version, jump onto either Podomatic, Stitcher, or iTunes and search the Knapsack Files, because all of the episodes of The Night is Dark will be there. Make sure you are following at Michelle Boyd. Hey, Michelle, what are you up to at the moment? Anything fun to... We're going to do book club.
We are going to do book club.
So, Michelle...
We're going to review books.
Michelle and I realised that reading is not dead, and we are going to make sure that you know about our favourite books, and which is why I know that you were good for Game of Thrones anyway.
Exactly.
She's a
I
book reader.
literally had someone come up to me 3 days ago, one of my friends, and say, "Hey, Michelle, you can read, right?" I was like,
And you're like,
Hey.
I can read and write.
Hey,
right?
Boyd, you literate?
"Oh my god,
You read words?
Michelle can read." Yes,
Make your
Michelle
mark.
can read.
Thank you, though, for filling in for Tiffany Smith, who will be back next week as well.
2
For that
weeks,
one in
right?
2 weeks.
In 2
time?
weeks.
We have a buy next.
Oh, we got to buy.
We got to buy. We're playing off and going to the next round of the playoffs. Yeah, Memorial Day weekend.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Game of Thrones will shut down on HBO. They'll probably show some really touching, weird, dramatic movie on HBO instead. So we'll be off. And we'll have a week. 2 weeks to recover from the emotional end of this episode.
That's probably why they ended on that. Well, thank you for having me.
Oh,
this
absolute
was fun.
pleasure.
Done on a totally emotionally traumatic episode. Awesome.
Yeah.
If you are wanting some more Game of Thrones tidbits, then follow Tiffany on YouTube, which is youtube.com/Tiffany M. Smith. We do bonus videos called And Full of Terrors up there, where we discuss top fives, our favourite lines during the show, our favourite character arcs, all that good stuff. In the meantime, though, if you are on iTunes, rate and review. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to the channels and give this video a like as well. And make sure you comment, because this discussion is one that we love to have each and every week, except next week, let's all get drunk instead. Even though we're kind of drunk now. But thank you again for watching The Night is Dark. We want to have a quick thank you to Icy the Frog at Icy the Frog. Give them a like, because all of the Game of Thrones stuff gets put on their website in one little handy link that you can click, and everything's there. And they also help us out with all the microphones and the technology as well, which we are forever grateful. Thank you, Dave.
Yay!
And thank you so much for watching. We will see you not next week, but the week after, because the night is dark
And full of terrors.
Thank you, Ken.